Welcome to the Market Day Germany, brought to you by TAITRA and Bike Europe. In the next 30 minutes, we will update you on the German e-bike and bicycle market. We will talk with industry leaders on the impact of Corona and the e-bike and bicycle market. My name is Jan-Willem van Schaik, Editor-in-Chief of Bike Europe. The Corona crisis resulted in a roller coaster situation for industry and retail. Almost all trade shows were cancelled this year or switched to a digital concept. Also, Taipei Cycle Show developed a digital format next to the physical show to keep in touch with the industry. The next edition is scheduled for March 2021. 2019 ended in a positive mood. 2020 started with a good market outlook, although the first signs were already coming from China that factories were closing and supplies might get disrupted. Mid-February, the German Industry Association ZIV already reported that 80% of its members had delivery delays. These were resulting in reduced economic activities. The ZIV survey also found out that about 30% of the respondents expected delivery delays between 1 to 3 weeks, and more than 60% expected even 4 to 6 weeks. As soon as the first lockdown was announced in Europe, production and assembly orders in Asia were cancelled. The global industry is still struggling with the impact of that decision. In Germany, we also saw the opening of the frame production on a large scale at Velo Sione. Based in the German city of Saalfeld, the company has the capacity to produce 3 million frames per year. This could be an important step for production close to the market and a more flexible supply chain. Here it takes only 90 seconds to make a frame. They can not only make frames in large volumes, the output is also sustainable. The injection molded frames are partly made of shredded carbon frames. Recycling carbon frames has been high on the agenda in the industry. This might be an important solution to make the industry more circular. For sure, we're going to hear more from them in the future. Berlin was one of the first cities in Europe to roll out pop-up cycling lanes to facilitate an increasing number of cyclists on their streets who did not want to travel by public transport anymore. This was only a prelude of what was going to happen. Once the stores reopened, there was a rush for bicycles. Demand was so high as many non-cyclists were looking for a safe means of transport. The combination of temporarily closed factories, cancelled orders and the rush on bicycles caused a major disruption in supply. And this situation is not over yet. Some even wonder how long it is going to take before the industry has filled the gap. In August, the chairman of Germany's largest retail organization, ZEG, sent out its outlook for 2021. Chairman Georg Honkamp expects the supply chain constraints next year to be a bigger challenge. At the ZEG dealer show in August, Georg Honkamp told Bike Europe about his worries for 2021. Normally, our production runs until April, he said. But for next July, I anticipate we will have to continue until July or even August. Otherwise, inventory levels will be too low. Many people in the industry share Georg Honkamp's reservations for next year. In Germany, the market also got overheated soon after the shops opened again. That was not a surprise. Since 2015, the e-bike market expanded by double digits year after year. In 2018, the industry reported an increase of a staggering 36%. And in 2019, the e-bike market thrived by 39%. The queues in front of e-bike shops, once they were allowed to open, was already expected. The German Industry Organization ZIV released sales figures over the first half of 2020, showing a 15.8% increase in e-bike sales. And that came after weeks of no sales at all when the shops were closed. According to the industry organization, the total market volume of e-bikes and bicycles combined in the first half of 2020 was 3.2 million units. That's an increase of more than 9% in total. It has become all the more obvious that the bicycle industry enjoys an unprecedented increase in sales. Cycling is on top of the agenda on all political levels. For the first time, it's seriously being discussed as a solution for many health, environmental and congestion problems that cities are facing. However, the question is whether the international e-bike and bicycle industry has an answer to this cycling boom. The necessity to make the supply chain more flexible has been addressed for some years now. The industry did initiate a series of programs to solve supply chain constraints. But it's all too little, as became all the more obvious in the past months. Let's go to our first guest today, Mr. Ernst Brust, Chairman of the German industry organization ZIV, on the current situation in Germany.
What was the biggest challenge your members of the German e-bike and bicycle industry had to face during the corona crisis?
Mid-April, we were faced with the factory shutdowns in Asia, interrupting the supply chain, and this has hit the bicycle industry, and the bicycle industry in Germany in particular, extremely hard. As a result, no deliveries came in from Asia. Some manufacturers still had some products in stock to assemble the final product, but as we all know, a bicycle consists of many parts, and if one is missing, you can't finalize the product. Obviously, this caused a major disruption in the production. Retail delivery was also a big problem. On top of that, 1 month later, after February, so in March, the bicycle shops in Germany suddenly had to close for a month. Of course, this was a big issue for the bicycle factories as they could no longer supply the shops with new products. Luckily, the bicycle shops were allowed to open again after a month, which gave some relief to the e-bike and bicycle factories. Another topic was that many people started cycling as they no longer wanted to travel by public transport, but by bicycle. This made it very difficult for the whole industry. On the one side, the parts did not come in and the bikes could not be completed, while on the other side, people were keen to buy bicycles or e-bikes, but the supplies were lacking. That has been a big problem. While bicycles and e-bikes were in high demand, the product availability was insufficient.
As a result of corona, a lot of people decided to start cycling for the first time as a safe means of transport. How was that reflected in sales in Germany?
This had a major impact on the sales. The industry is used to being able to deliver 100%, and they usually keep a safety margin of 10 to 20%. But now they were faced with such high demand that everything was sold out. In a recent gathering of our members, I have been told that suddenly everything, and I mean really everything, was sold out. Even the retailers ran out of stock completely. This is a big issue for the manufacturers, but also for the independent bicycle dealer.
Do you expect this trend to continue in the following years?
Yes, I am convinced this trend will continue in future as we are now in the middle of the second corona wave. Now people are used to cycling again, they will continue to do so during the second wave. Micro-mobility makes people aware of other benefits, such as health and the environment. I'm convinced that this will eventually lead to an increase in the number of people cycling.
How is the German industry anticipating on the new market reality? Do you expect a substantial increase in local production, or will the market focus on more imports from other EU countries, or even from outside the EU?
The demand for bicycles and e-bikes is so high that the industry will continue to source products from Asia, but we will also get more manufacturers in Europe, like, for example, Bafang, who started an e-bike motor factory in Poland. But also in Spain and Portugal, new factories have been opened. Important components like aluminium frames will increasingly be made in Europe. The dependency on suppliers is a big problem, as assemblers sometimes have to wait for 4 to 6 months for their products. Usually they are transported by ship, and of course they turn to air freight as well to limit the lead time. But the problem of product availability is still existing. This would be much easier when these are made in Europe. Don't forget, a bicycle consists of 1,000 parts, and that is a huge logistical challenge.
In the first half of 2020, the production of bicycles and e-bikes in Germany decreased by 1.1% to 1.39 million units. Also, imports declined by 14.4%. On the other hand, we've seen a lot of reports on a flourishing market. This sounds like a contradiction. How do you explain this?
No, there is no contradiction. In the first half of 2020, we had factories which were temporarily closed and supply chain problems, which has resulted in a minus in both production and imports. But in the following months, the market really took off as products became available and supplies came in at the e-bike and bicycle manufacturers. Now we know that all stocks are empty. It became all the more obvious during our latest meeting of our members that all manufacturers are out of stock completely. The nice thing is they now all have the financial resources to invest for 2021. The big question is, of course, do I invest 120% for next year or even more? They are all a bit worried what to do. When I invest more now, do I have the financial resources? So what is the best choice?
What will be the impact of the cancellation of trade shows this year for the industry?
The trade shows are very important for the whole industry. In previous years, trade shows were important for getting orders, but that has changed over the years. The main role for trade shows today is networking. Eurobike and the trade shows are extremely important for the whole industry, but also for the consumers. I would highly appreciate keeping Eurobike running, and we are busy working on that. As it is the largest bicycle show in the world, people in the industry need to get together at least once a year.
Hello everyone, welcome to Taipei Cycle Show Market Day event. I'm Andrea Wu, the show manager. 2020 has been a challenging year for all in our industry. Luckily, this industry demand has been strong. So as part of finding new ways to make business easier, in 2021, on top of Taipei Cycle Physical Show, we will hold Taipei Cycle Online Edition, a new virtual show platform, and it will last for the whole month of March. We plan to use the online show and physical show in partnership to push boundaries and find new ways to overcome the limits of distance and time zones to facilitate communication and business activities, as well as to give more exposure to our exhibitors' products. Now, allow me to introduce our planning of Taipei Cycle Online 2021. Our concept of this online platform is a virtual show alongside a physical show. This platform provides flexibilities to exhibitors and buyers. It lasts 1 month long and offers 24 hours a day access to global B2B buyers. This is also an online networking platform for exhibitors and buyers to interact without any limitations from differences in country and time zone. We also have online to offline integrated marketing services to help increase brand awareness for exhibitors. Customized services such as TTS match system will facilitate business meetings between exhibitors and buyers. In short, Taipei Cycle Online possesses 4 elements, including virtual display, networking between exhibitors and buyers, experiencing show activities, and exhibitors are able to access to a visitor's insight report. Now I would like to go further about our new TTS match system. Through this system, exhibitors are able to schedule meetings with registered buyers online without limitations. Buyers who would like to be in this match system shall register and then evaluated by the organizer to see if they are qualified. We also offer exhibitors a visitor's insight report with detailed information on view counts of products, number of messages, and also booth traffic. Since Taipei Cycle 2021 will be held in both physical and online editions, we will also set up an online show corner at our physical show to extend the exposures for virtual show exhibitors, so that our visitors attending the physical show can check out the online platform as well. This platform welcomes exhibitors worldwide, and if you are interested in participating in a country pavilion, you may contact our branch offices in Milano, Korea, and Japan. Now let's have a peek on our online platform and see how it works for exhibitors and visitors. In the beginning, you can access to trends, live stream events, and forums in the lobby. Further, you can go to different halls, such as e-bikes or bicycle accessories or complete bicycles, by clicking on product categories. Next, you will be guided to the exhibitor booth, which supports 3-dimensional environment. Now let's see a simulation of the demonstration. And there's much more about Taipei Cycle Online coming up. If you want to find out more information, welcome to visit our official website.
Although based in Germany, Messingslager has very strong international ties to the industry and a global network of suppliers and customers. Unlike anybody, Messingslager knows the market in Germany and other European countries. Our second guest is Denis Schemborg, General Manager of Messingslager. What was the biggest challenge Messingslager had to face during the Corona crisis?
So, Messingslager's challenges to the beginning of the crisis and during the crisis, most likely also like anyone else, it was managing the continuous flow of our operations. And as in March, everyone had to act under a lot of uncertainty. We try to be as foreseeing as possible, and as no one knew how the authorities would react when you have a corona positive person in your organization, we try to create safety, especially in our logistics, and switch to a 2-shift operational scheme. Usually we are just 1 shift of around 40 people who are processing our orders. But in order to make sure that we can get the goods out of the warehouse at all times, we separated them in 2 independent teams that met at no time in order to keep the orders getting out. Additionally, of course, on the administrative side, we switched very immediately to remote working. Messingschlager, a bit more traditional company, our people love to be in the office, I too, and so we didn't do too much home office work, but luckily the technical infrastructure was in place, and we could switch to home office a lot, to let's say 80% of the people mostly, yeah? And that luckily worked also quite well, as Messingschlager has a very loyal and long-term base of people working for us. Like over 22 years is the average time that people work for us. So that was also a good level of trust and integrity. And that way we, not muddled our way through, but we got through quite well, and actually learned a lot about ourselves and how we can work smarter in the future.
As a result of Corona, a lot of people decided to start cycling for the first time as a safe means of transport. How was that reflected in your sales?
Well, being a parts and accessory supplier to the industry, of course, we felt it at the same time that many people obviously had the need to repair their bikes. We also operate a bike store on our premises, and we felt, especially on the entry price levels of all bike categories, that there was a very high demand. So let's say in Germany, MTBs for 499 up to 799 were sold out very quickly. But also lots of things like that you need in the workshop, tubes, pedals, all the belts, everything to fix your bike because it hasn't been used for a while. Were actually bought in our store, but also by our customers a lot. And luckily, as Messingschlager has quite big warehousing capacities, we had a lot of stock for our customers. But even us at the mid-time, end time of the season, we were running out of stock.
Do you expect this trend to continue in the following years?
We do think the next year will be a positive one for the industry. We don't expect these extraordinary growth rates that we saw now in the year 2021 to be at that high level in 2020 to be at that high level in 2021. But still, we think next year will be between 5 and 10% growth in many markets in Europe. Mainly driven out of the fact that we are still uncertain how we will have Corona under control. People will stay at home more, spending their holidays there. We see very positively that also metropolitan areas invest more into cycling infrastructure, which will support more cycling in general. And overall, the bicycle is perceived as very positive also in the overarching ecological discussion of too high CO2 emissions. E-cycling is helping a lot, but also bio-bikes are very well on a positive trend. So we think 2021 will be a good year. We don't hope we will have too many overstocks. We will not see too many overstocks in the second half of next year because everyone obviously is ordering quite a lot and stocks a lot. But overall, the future for cycling looks positive.
Product availability has been a major issue in the industry since sales took off immediately after the first Corona peak in spring. According to industry insiders, product availability will be even a bigger problem in 2021. What is your comment on that?
We can see that the bottlenecks in terms of supply will certainly be more visible than ever in next year. We are all facing the same challenge of a very long supply chain from Asia. I know our partners are doing whatever they can to guarantee supply. For Messingschlager, I can only tell, it's in the nature of our business model to stock massive quantities in Europe for our partners. So this is, of course, where our customers do even count more on Messingschlager to give them the certainty of product availability. And I can only say we placed, as already started 3 months ago with that, we placed orders on a level like we never placed before. Okay. But they are all based on, of course, customer needs. So now looking at supply, when you place now only an order, that is actually a serious discussion because it doesn't matter who it is. Most of them are +6, +8, +9 months. And that is, of course, not sustainable for the industry in the long term.
Did you make important changes in your sourcing to serve your European customers?
Well, our strategy did not change, Jan Willem. Luckily, what Messingschlager, because of our organic growth over the last couple of years, did do is we invested almost 7 million euros in expanding our warehouse space by 25%. And this project and the facility extension was finalized in March, April this year. So we created space for another 5,000 euro pallets. That helped us, of course, now to stock even more product for the upcoming months and season. But our process in general and our business model to agree on annual forecasts with our customers to make sure we have the quantities that they need always at hand in Europe when they need the product, that remained unchanged.
In the past years, we have seen the trend of production relocation close to the market, in particularly for the e-bike and bicycle assembly. This year, Corona has displayed the disadvantages of long supply chains in the industry. Eastern Europe has long been called a good location for the e-bike and bicycle assembly, close to Europe's main markets. Knowing your strong market position in Eastern Europe, how do you look at this production relocation in connection with the pandemic?
We look at that overall very positive, because everyone has a need for more production and more supply closer to Europe. Still, we know that many of the crucial parts that you need to assemble a bike are being still manufactured and supplied from factories out of Asia. But we can tell that we are working close with well-trusted branded partners from our end, like Kenda, like KMC, like Zamox, a partner that we are working closely with for 2 years. And we come to the alignment that we, because of our large warehousing capacities, can function as their kind of European central warehousing logistics, and in that way try to help our customers to have at all times product available. Although it is a process, we are yet not perfect. We will try to be as high as possible in our service levels, but overall the trend in Eastern Europe is very positive from our point of view.
Thank you for joining us today. I'm looking forward to meet you all at the next industry gathering in Taiwan, at the digital or the physical Taipei Cycle Show from March 3 to 6, 2021. In the meantime, stay informed and check the market reports on our website at www.bike-eu.com. Thank you.